Hello YouTube and welcome to a Who review. I am Davros and I am a Whovian, and today I am reviewing Doctor Who An Unearthly Child. So, yes, the story where it all began, the very first episode. So, basically, this one, there's this there's a student at Coal Hill School, and her two teachers, her science teacher, Ian Wright, and her history teacher, Barbara Wright, and her science teacher, Ian Chesterton, get suspicious about her as she seems to make things complicated in lessons. So when they go to find out where she lives, they discover she lives in a junkyard, and then their lives are changed forever when they encounter the TARDIS and her grandfather, the Doctor. Yes, and of course, when the Doctor finds out his granddaughter Susan's teachers have found out, he then takes them away to prehistoric times. And along the way they get stranded there when they come across cavemen that want them to make fire and must band together to get out of the pickle. So let's get on to my likes and dislikes about this one. So first of all, the likes. So I liked this serial. It was the first ever serial from the show. I liked that it was a time travel show, and this was the first time it had ever been aired. They aired the pilot episode on the 23rd of November 1963, but it was a day after President Kennedy's assassination, so the viewing figures weren't good. So Verity Lambeth demanded, the producer demanded, that the episode be reshown again the following week, and it hit the roof. And this was originally meant to last 6 episodes, and, well, it's become more than that. It's still around to this day, 50 years later, and now the Doctor's character is a woman. Who'd have thought that? 55 years to this day, Doctor Who's still going strong. So, I liked the setting and that, how we got to meet the Doctor, how we got to observe the TARDIS, and how we went back to cavemen times as our first outing with the Doctor. For the audience of 1963, this was like nothing they had ever seen before. This was, mind-blowing for them, because nothing like this had ever been on TV. From the music to the opening credits to the mystique of the Doctor, and Ian and Barbara represented us, the humans, in this, and of course Susan was the unearthly child. Of course, this was the first ever serial. The first episode was called An Unearthly Child, and that was the name of the serial, but the episodes had different names, like Cave of Skulls and The Firemaker and that. But still, it all fits, it's all into that serial, An Unearthly Child, and that. So, I like that. I also liked how the cavemen spoke. Now, they never explained this till the revival era, that the TARDIS can get into your head and translate things for you. So it was clearly, as a modern Who viewer, I knew that was the TARDIS translating, but maybe for the audience of 63, they might think cavemen can talk, because they could communicate with each other, I think, yeah. What else did I like? Yeah, I like the cavemen in this. And that. And all they wanted to do was have fire and stay warm and cook meat. And that. This was like 60s science fiction. Pure 60s science fiction at its best. The Doctor and the cavemen looking all 60s and that. I just loved that. I just loved the 60s sci-fi vibe it had. And that. I also loved William Hartnell's performance as the Doctor, and we knew him as, Doctor Who? Exactly, and I just thought he was great in this. He was mysterious, he was old, he was wise, and yeah, he was just fantastic. Also, Carole Ann Ford as his granddaughter Susan. She loved Earth and coexisting with the humans. And at this point we didn't know much about the Doctor or his granddaughter at all. He was just as mysterious as he was to Ian and Barbara, and I loved them two in it. William Russell and Jacqueline Hill. They were brilliant as Ian and Barbara, and they were the first ever human companions of the Doctor. Yeah, it wasn't like young adults like it is now. I mean, we have Graham in the modern series, current series, and that who's kind of represents the older viewers. But yeah, this was just a fantastic way to start a program which they never thought would last as long as it has done. And this was done on a tight budget. You see, the TARDIS was originally meant to change its surroundings every episode, but because of the budget, they couldn't afford to do that, so they had to think fast. And that's how they came up with the chameleon circuit on the Doctor's TARDIS being broken, because the TARDIS was a machine that he could barely control at times in this first era of Doctor Who. Yeah, so they kept the TARDIS as a blue police box, which at the time in the 60s, in the 50s and 60s, was a police box used for the police, to call for backup, and if they arrested someone, to lock them inside the police box like a little cell. Yeah, so I mean, these days they are referred to as the TARDIS or a TARDIS and that just shows how much it's had an impact on our British culture and how we refer to police boxes being that. So, yeah, final thoughts and ratings. I like the effects in this, even though there were hardly any effects at all, other than the time travel sequence, which was like what we see in the opening credits. I also liked, I just liked this serial. I mean, the first ever episode, the pilot episode, and then sort of the rerun of the first ever episode was a bit slow and boring, but the final act in that episode, really did it for me, and I just love this serial, and I can't recommend it enough. Especially if you want to start with the classic Who, this is the great one. So, with all that being said, I'm going to give Doctor Who An Unearthly Child, this for me gets a 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5 for Unearthly Child. So that has been my Who review on Doctor Who An Unearthly Child. I've been Davros the Whovian. If you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to share with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and to hit that notification bell. All of my social media links are down below in the description. Also, have you seen this serial? Let me know down in the comments below. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So, until next time, run for your life.